What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Do you want to know 7 reasons why Gennady, Max, y'all right, Golovkin will defeat David Lemieux October 17th? If so, stay tuned to this video.
You can expect what you see, two hard punchers going at it.
I'm a little bit scared. I promise, amazing show.
Now, before I get started, let me start off with this disclaimer. I actually like both of these fighters, Gennady Golovkin and David Lemieux. I actually picked David Lemieux to beat Gabe Rosado. A lot of people said I was foolish because they weren't really familiar with David Lemieux. However, I studied both these guys' careers. I like them both, but this is a prediction, and I'm going to have a little fun with the prediction, and it's based on the matchup. It's nothing against David Lemieux. I hate David Lemieux. Some of you radical fans are going to say stuff like that, but this is my assessment on two fighters meeting in that square circle. This is in no particular order. Let's get into it. Gennady Golovkin is tougher and a better chin. Now, in my opinion, I think Gennady Golovkin does have the superior chin. Some people say, oh, he's never been in with a big puncher. However, he has close to 400 amateur fights. So anytime you fight 400 different people in the amateurs from all over the world, you have experience. Trust me, you fought all the different styles, including punchers. And even as a pro, he fought a guy like Curtis Stevens who didn't all the way let his hands go. However, Curtis Stevens packs a punch and was able to get Triple G's respect and back Triple G off in spots. The trouble is Curtis Stevens wasn't able to keep that up, and Triple G was able to break Curtis Stevens down. But Curtis Stevens did land some shots of note, and in my opinion, he has a better chin than David Lemieux, who we know has been stopped. Triple G, better jab and better counterpuncher. Now, I really like Triple G's offensive game. As a counterpuncher, he does not get enough credit for his ability to counterpunch. He's very good at his offense, and it's evident in his fight with Daniel Gill. Daniel Gill probably landed his best shot of that whole fight and subsequently got knocked out. So you have to picture this. Daniel Gill landed the best shot that he had in the whole fight versus Triple G, and seconds later he gets knocked out because Triple G landed a destructive shot on Daniel Gill immediately after. Just go watch the HBO clip and watch the replay. So that just goes to show you that Triple G is a good counterpuncher. I also think he's the better jabber. Now, the jab is underused and underappreciated in the sport of boxing. It is very imperative, especially when you have two power punchers. Now, it's one thing to have power, but how are you going to get that power to your target? David Lemieux is the shorter of the two, and I think Triple G has a better jab. And the other thing with Triple G, he's such a powerful, strong guy that his jab is actually a hurtful punch, and he can dominate and get a lot of respect just off of a pure jab. I've seen him hurt guys with the jab. So I think that's an excellent thing to have in his arsenal, and I do think Gennady Golovkin has a better jab than David Lemieux. Gennady Golovkin experience. Now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Gennady Golovkin, I do feel, has the best experience. He has close to 400 fights with a very good amateur pedigree and record. So that's one thing. You fight all the different styles. You fight in different parts and different locations of the world. Even as a pro, he's fought probably the better competition. David Lemieux has looked good in his last couple of fights, but I think overall, Triple G has the better amateur and pro level experience out of the two. Triple G fighting more actively. Now, this is important because the more frequent you fight, things become second nature for you. Things get easier and easier because practice makes permanent. So I think Triple G, he's fought 3 to 4 times a year, and I think that's going to come into play in this particular fight. It keeps your skills sharp, and you're able to hone your skills by frequently fighting. You don't allow your body to balloon up in weight too much because you're frequently fighting every so often when you're fighting 3 to 4 times a year. It's not like crammed into a small period of time. And Triple G's routinely been fighting about that much for the last couple of years. So I think that active fighting is going to be more beneficial for Triple G, just because Triple G, even though he's not fighting, he hadn't fought, like, let's say, the best names in his division, he's still fighting frequently, and they're against different styles. Rubio doesn't fight like Daniel Gill, for example. David Lemieux has stamina and fatigue issues. Now, I've noticed this with David Lemieux. Obviously, the best example of this was versus Marco Antonio Rubio. He seemed gassed, and he ended up getting stopped in that particular fight. So to me, I'm not sold on David Lemieux's stamina. And it leads me to another point that I want to talk about is energy and David Lemieux's energy level. And I'll save that for the next point. To me, David Lemieux has stamina issues. He's a power puncher, and sometimes he doesn't look the same and doesn't look as fresh. Watch the Gabe Rosado fight. Even though he got the stoppage, it looked like he had to let off the gas so he didn't punch himself out. You watch Marco Antonio Rubio. He got stopped in that fight. Even in his most recent fight versus Hassan N'Dam, he was beating up on N'Dam. He knocked him down a gang of times. If you look at that 12th round, Hassan N'Dam seemed to hurt David Lemieux, and I think he exerted so much energy and expended so much energy in that fight trying to hurt his man to the point where he was gassed a little bit in that 12th round and he got hurt. So I think Triple G has showed a better stamina as long as the fight lasts. You know what I mean? And Triple G, his style-wise, it enables him to, if he needs to, fight 12 rounds better. And this is kind of leading into some of my other points. David Lemieux swings too wide. Now, the problem with that is David Lemieux, he wants to put so much energy, he wants to put so much emphasis on his power shot. So sometimes they're looping and they're wide. Now, if they connect, they can be very, very destructive if they connect to the target. However, the problem with that is when you got someone like Triple G, who I just told you guys has a good jab and is the better counter puncher, it's always easier for a straight shot, a shorter shot, to get from point A to point B than a wide looping shot. So I just see David Lemieux getting caught with something up the pipe by Triple G, who happens to be a good counterpuncher with a good jab. Sometimes it's easier to see those looping shots and plan for them too, because you're putting so much torque and energy into it, they usually come a little bit slower. And David Lemieux is not what I would say athletically fast. He's not like really a fast-handed fighter like a Canelo, Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao type. So I see those wide shots being a problem for somebody who is, like Triple G, a good counterpuncher. And finally, Gennady Golovkin, in my opinion, has the better technique that uses less energy. And it kind of goes back to one of my earlier points with the stamina and the fatiguing. Triple G has mastered his craft, and his craft is mostly his offense. Now, don't get me wrong, for an offensive fighter, there are subtle things that he does where I would say he has the advantage in offense and also with defense. I think the way he delivers his power, he knows he can hurt you. He's patient. One thing that people sleep on with Gennady Golovkin, he is extremely light on his feet, almost as if he took ballet like Van Damme early in his career or something like that. He's very limber, very light on his feet, and he has great balance, on top of him being an offensive monster and the counterpuncher and things like that. Now, I just think he overall has the better technique to deliver his offense and his defense. There's subtle things that he does, like some shifting, being light on his feet. He allows himself to cut off the ring well and put himself in a position to inflict maximum damage. So I think overall he just has the better technique out of the two. David Lemieux is a good fighter. We'll see if maybe he watches this video. Maybe he proves me wrong. I could be wrong, but guess what? I can also be very right. So that is 7 reasons why Gennady Golovkin will defeat David Lemieux. That's just, of course, my opinion. You guys let me know what you guys think. Am I right or am I dead wrong? Will Gennady Golovkin win? And yes, I do think Gennady Golovkin will win via stoppage. That is my full prediction, uncut. 7 reasons why Triple G will win. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.